Hi guys, what are we going to do today? We're going to do something we had kind of touched on before when we had done another video. But this time we're using some fun images and we are going to emboss right over the top of them. Let's get started. So for this project, what I'm using is a sheet of my Christmas decorator paper. These are 11 by 17s, but you could use any image that you can find. I'm using this thin roll of metal, and we have this listed on my favorite things, so you can see where I had gotten this one. Well, the first thing I want to do, I know I am not going to be using the whole thing, so I'm just going to cut it a little bit smaller. And the reason I'm doing this first is so I'm not using as much metal. I know I will need about this much. So I am just going to trim this off. And don't forget this, the edges of this are sharp. So you do want to use a little caution working with it. What's fun is even with these small pieces, you could take small images and make ornaments out of this. Since this paper's a little heavier weight, I like to use a little bit thicker of a glue. And it doesn't matter which side you use, I'm just doing it this way because it's rolling that way. I'm gonna put him on here and I am gonna let this dry for just a few moments. Then we are going to cut him out. Okay, so when this is dry, we are gonna cut it out. If there's still a lot of bubbles in it, you can always lay it down and put a piece of parchment paper over the top and iron it. So I'm going to cut out the area. Once again, be mindful the metal is sharp. This metal is very, very easy to cut through with just regular scissors. If a few of your little edges come up, you can just tack this back down with a little bit of glue. And now we're going to start embossing. So you've got them all cut out and he's all nice and secure. And if there was any areas that lifted, make sure you use some glue and glue those down. And what I'm going to use is, this is almost like a Teflon tip stylus. And I have some tools here. And we also have listed in my favorite things some of these different tools. You may have something at home. If you have like a ballpoint pen that doesn't write anymore, you know, something that's not super pointy, but it's enough that it would indent on here. I'm going to use just a thin layer of foam to get started, and I'm not pressing super hard, but I'm going to go around my lines, like I'm going to outline the brick. Now I'm going to go around his fur, where his clothing are. Maybe a few of the creases in his pants, but you can decide how much or how little you would like embossed. And you don't want to press so hard that you're ripping your paper. And I'm doing these lines where some of these shadows are. Now I'm going to go down his eyebrows and his eyes. Now, what's nice about this is if you're not sure you've gotten everything, you turn it over and you're going to see how much if you've missed or you haven't. Like if I want anything else in here in the beard. Okay, and I'll find out when I go along if I need more. Now, I am using this very round Teflon piece, but you could also use something like this. I like this. It seems to move much smoother on here. And what I'm doing is where those lines are, I'm going right on the inside of those and filling in. I'm just going to start filling in, going on the inside edge of those lines. So as you can see, when I'm pushing this down, it's going to be pushing the metal out towards you from the front side. Now some of these smaller areas like the eyes, I'll take a smaller ball and go in and press. And see if it needs to get smoothed out in front and pushed down. Because when you're pushing in the back, you can push the edges up also. And decide which tips of styluses you need for the areas you're doing. And you kind of just go back and forth, the front and the back, until you feel like you can really see the embossing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to age him. I am using Vintage Photo. You could use any color oxide or not do this at all. See how you are seeing some of these embossed lines. So I'm gonna let this dry. I am not going to set it with water. I'm gonna let it dry and then I'm just going to seal it. So I'm using Minwax polyacrylic crystal clear finish. This is a gloss, but they also have it in a matte and I believe a satin. You don't have to seal it. I like the look of this. It'll just keep it a little more protected. I'm gonna let him dry and then we're gonna put him on a little stand. Okay guys, I hope you thought this was easy. So this is another one we had done and I'm gonna show you how we finished it. All I did was add an extra ledge to the bottom and then I just hot glued this spool on and it actually stands. You could even put a little board at the bottom of this ledge. This one I thought I would do different and I just attached it to a little wood box. But whatever you've got, whether it's a milk carton, even like a little easel, these are lightweight that they could stand very, very easily. And if you wanted to, you could actually just hole punch a hole in the top and just hang them. Hope you guys give this a shot. Look in the description, you'll find where we use the metal, how we use the tools. We also carry the papers, but you could use whatever images you would like. Hope you try it out, but have fun.